welcome back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I am your host, Renee Murdoch. I am so happy that you are here on today. I'm happy that you are going on this journey, that you're liking, you're sharing, you're giving in your comments, and also, some questions that you might even have. So I'm thankful for the interaction. And we do know, right, that leading is teachable, and we are not to be on this journey by ourselves. If so, you would be the only one on the earth, and you're not. So that's how we know that we're not meant to do life alone. So do know that, hey, I am with you on this journey, and hey, I'm so happy that you're going to come along with me as well, because we can sharpen one another in this thing here. So the last episode, we kind of got into about traveling smart. And I didn't finish. I want to just go ahead because we are within a time of, I think we're always traveling, right? We think about the holidays. We think about, taking vacations. As we get older, our timeline begins to shift a little bit. But we do know that you can travel smart. So those of you who have not been traveling, I want to help you get a little bit further, no matter what space that you're in. If you're still in the space of, I gotta, do the school age time frame, or maybe you're in the space where you don't have any children at all, or maybe they're super young, and then you could take them with you wherever you want to go, right? I kind of did that in the very beginning. And then, or you could be at the stage where you're transitioning, into my children are in high school, and I can leave them alone a little bit longer, get someone else to come in and watch them. Or I also can go into, they're out the house, right? And it's just us adults. And what are we doing out here? But you don't have to break the bank to travel smart, right? And not only that, it's not about the budgeting, but it's about the preparation to ensure that you have a nice trip. So that previous episode, we were talking about creating a realistic budget for your trip, right? Tracking by creating a daily spending limit, right? Preparing yourself. What type of hotel do I want to stay in? What type of ticket? What type of, transportation do I want to take? Do I want to drive? Do I want to, fly? Do I want to take a train? All those things, right, come into play. The second thing was, how am I going to get there, right, when I decide what mode of transportation that I'm going to take. Knowing what that cost is. And it's not just about the actual buying the ticket, but other things that lead up to that and other things that go before that. So like a lot of people I see, which you are making these airports a fortune, is that as soon as you get out that vehicle, you go straight through security and you go straight to the newsstand. You go straight to the eatery place or whatnot. And I always wonder, what were you doing that you could not have picked up food and brought it with you, right? And it went through the security point with you, right? Or what was it that you were doing that you couldn't stop at the grocery store? By golly, I don't even like buying stuff from the gas station, but it's even cheaper at the gas station than it is at the airport. So I was wondering, what are you doing? I was wondering about people. What are you doing? Why are you in here grocery shopping at the newsstand? That's insane to me. Do you know how much a bag of M&Ms costs? Do you know how much a bag of chips costs? Anyway, it's all about counting up the cost, because these are some things. Now, if you want to put that in your budget, put it in your budget. You don't have to do like I do, right? I'm going to buy the snacks before I go. I literally have snacks that I take at certain seasons, right, when I'm going, and depending on where I'm going. Now, there's one particular snack that I will always have. I will always have this snack. Go ahead and ask me. Go ahead and ask me what it is. Okay, you took too long. Okay, so what that snack is, Twizzlers. No matter what season, it's always coming with me. It's always coming with me, okay? Is Twizzlers. You're going to find them in my bag. If it so happened that something happens to me and you recover my bag, it's going to have some Twizzlers in it. Just letting you know, it's going to have Twizzlers, okay? So I'm not buying Twizzlers at the airport. You're not getting my $7 for a small bag at that. That's crazy. Anyway, all right, so again, that's what we talked about, those transportation tips. Going on to where to stay and how to choose lively, right? We talked about the comparison, the hotels, right? The vacation rentals, the hostels, right? All inclusive. We talked about that. We talked about looking at neighborhoods and where we're staying at, loyalty programs. I think that's like a total different, like a complete different podcast. And I am not the expert, so to speak, of that's not the realm of my podcast. It's not about traveling. There are people that do have traveling podcasts, and maybe you should listen to them in regards to the loyalty program. So I've, been around a bit, and so I've got my own loyalty programs. But again, if you have some gems out there, drop them in the comments. We want to see them, or send me a note, right? We talked about the meal planning that doesn't break the bank. And I'm telling you, if you are buying your meals at the airport, I don't know, maybe that's, the reason why when you get to where you're going, you don't have the funds that you want to do the things that you want to do, or it's just that you really just didn't calculate it in there, right? But this all goes into preparing your budget, the meals, right? Are you going to make, if you're taking an early flight and you like to eat breakfast, guess what? You probably should make your breakfast and put it in a little to-go container and take it with you. It's just a suggestion. These are recommendations. Or make yourself an egg sandwich. Or make yourself a bagel, right? And you have already got your cream cheese, if you're a cream cheese person, and wrap it up in some foil and take it with you. Why would you wait till you get to the airport and you're going to spend $5 on a bagel? A bagel that literally costs, right, $1.69 if you buy it individually, or if you buy it in a whole pack, you're going to spend $2.99. Hello, somebody. Can you do the math? Can you do the math? So see, that's why I'm recommending that you go ahead and bring that breakfast with you. Okay? You want to make sure you pack in the snacks. Again, we're talking about, being smart about your travel. Now, here is the new topic that we're going to get into today, and that is activities and entertainment, right? Before you go, this will help you. If you look at to where you're going, where you're staying at, and sometimes, not sometimes, but most of the times where you're staying at, like even if it's a hostel, even if it's an Airbnb, even if it's a hotel, right, they're going to have on their website the things that are close in the area. They're going to have certain shops that's in the area, how far the airport is from where you're going to be staying at. They're going to have, if there's any type of public transportation, like where that stop is at, that's going to be on there. So these are things that you want to look at. And if you're not going there for a particular event, right, and you're just going there for certain things, and you're just like, oh, I still want to see what's in the area, you want to get your list together. What do I want to do when I get there so I'm not overwhelmed by trying to figure out what I'm trying to do, and then there's like all these selections and you're like, I'm just not going to do anything. And so you don't end up going anywhere. And you come back and people ask you what you did and you're like, I don't know. So some things are, you can look at doing some free things, right? There's museums, there's festivals, there's parks, there's walking tours. Those things are free. And then there's some things that going to cost you. I think one thing that I learned from my mother was there is enjoyment in window shopping. I enjoy window shopping, people. And this sometimes Murdoch does not like. My friend doesn't like it sometimes. He's like, what are we looking at? I'm like, stuff. Stuff. We're looking at stuff. We're looking at what's about to happen. Because guess what? What I'm looking at today, and I be sitting there looking up stuff, especially like if it's a boutique and it's not like a chain store. I literally take the tag, right? If it's a SKU on there, I'm skewing the tag. I'm taking a picture of the tag. I'm looking it up online. Where else is this brand sold at? Is this, like, I'm literally doing this, people. I'm doing this. Especially if it's a certain price. Now, if it's a brand, if it's a chain store, right, I'm looking at, okay, what season are we in? Boom, boom. And is this something that if I'm in the United States of America, I'm like, oh, I can get this anywhere, right? I'm going to wait for a while. And if I come back around again and it's on sale or on clearance, then boom, I liked it, I'm getting it, right? But majority of the time, so for instance, I'm going to take American Eagle, for example, right? So if I go to a different country and there's American Eagle there, right? The same thing that is in the American Eagle in the United States of America, more than likely is not going to be there. Like certain dresses and things are not going to be there. Even H&M, Zara, totally different clothing that is there. Very rarely you might find some same things, like if it comes to jeans or something. But other than that, there are different things there. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. It's nice. I'm not gonna come over here again. I won't be here in a while. And so that is something that I might get again because I budgeted for some things to purchase. And that being said, if you're not budgeting for something to get purchased, or I'm just going there just for a split second, then I'm not going to put that in my budget. There's no purpose of it because I'm not going to go do any shopping. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just there. If I got a couple of hours, okay, boom, then I'm getting on. And my bag probably isn't going to fit anything either. So that's why I'm not trying to get a whole bunch of things. Also, you want to look at attractions in the area that are high demand. If they're high demand, then you probably want to go online and book your reservations beforehand. If it's on high demand, more than likely, I'm going to say 99.9%, you're going to have to go online to get those tickets. If you try to get them the day of, right, or when you get there, it's probably not going to happen. There's been a couple of times, right, where I have been like, okay, I'm not going to plan every moment. I'm just going to, I know I want to do this, I want to do that, and so I'm going to do something one day. The other time throughout the day, I'm just going to be free. And so I can look at, what's happening in that area and then, go from there. But I rarely do that, although I say that I'm going to do that, but I rarely do it. So just being honest, I like being honest. But that's the part of where I'm getting to that you must leave room for some spontaneity, right? Like we want to be spontaneous sometimes, which can be fun at times, especially if something you planned and then based on the venue or the weather, it might get canceled. And then you're like, oh, my whole trip is ruined. Is it? Can you do something else? Something else you can do? I don't know. But anyway, something to think about, right? So some of the best moments are unplanned. I'm learning that as a planner. Like if it's not planned down to the T, it's okay, right? Yeah, it's okay. So I did a trip one time where I knew I wanted to go hiking, right? And I think I might have talked about this before, but I wanted to go hiking and I knew where I wanted to go hiking. And I was like, I want to hike for 5 days. And I was like, do I want to plan this out or do I want to let somebody else plan this out? Because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get stressed out and then, my friend was coming with me. And so I was like, I think I need to let somebody else plan this itinerary. Because then it's going to free me up. Because if I hear anything, it's probably not going to bother me as much because I didn't plan it. Right? Other than I just told people, like, this is where I go. So I found a company that does this for hiking. And I thought I was like, I've never done this before. I'm going to go hike with other people I've never met before. I was super excited about it. And then so we booked it, we planned it or whatever. And lo and behold, we ended up being the only people because people got sick, they got COVID. And so we still ended up being the only people in the tour guide was like, do you still wanna go? And I was like, yes, we're doing this. Like, we're going hiking for 5 days. But what was great about it was that the fact that we were more advanced is that we could go further and we can experience more than actually what was actually there because we were like, boom, let's go, let's keep going, and so it was really great. So that was a part of planned and also some being spontaneous at the same time. That's all packaged in there. So it was a really good trip. And my friend said that it was the best hiking experience that they had. So I think that's great, right? To the point where people started, pinging me on social media. Oh, I want to go next time. I want to go. Did they go next time? Did they go? Anywho, And so one particular time, right, someone came and they didn't even hike. But no shade. I didn't give them no shade. I was just like, hey, great for you coming and being in the midst, right? So, all right. So the next point for this smart trip planning and travel, right, is smart packing. I tipped on that just a little bit about if I'm buying something, right, how I'm going to get it back, right? Did I pack smart to be able to bring something back? Or did I just, do too much and then I'm like, man, where am I going to put this stuff, right? I can't get it because I don't have any room. So it's all those questions. So one thing that you should know and you should be doing is you want to capitalize off of the articles that you have in your closet that can mix and match and mingle. What do I mean by that? If I'm going somewhere for 7 days, I do not need 7 whole new outfits. You don't. You don't. At a minimum, right? Some people can get away with one. I don't know about that. I've heard. I don't know. Yeah, hiking's a little bit different though. Yeah, I had 2. But anyway, so 3 bottoms, right? 3 bottoms max, right? And then you're going to switch those shirts out, right? Depending on the season should mean how many tops that you're going to get. If it's the summer, you want pretty much, right, more than anything because you might be sweating or anything. But if you're staying in a place that has a washer and a dryer, again, why do you need to bring all of those clothes? If you're not on a loyalty program of that nature, guess what? You're paying for that luggage. So you mean to tell me that I have to pay $60 to $75 of my own clothes to take with me? That's basically, you're paying for your own clothes. It's like you're renting out your wardrobe. You're renting out your wardrobe if you got to pay for your luggage. That's why it's important for you to get in a loyalty program and stick with it. So you can get check bags free when you need to check a bag. And sometimes people can check a bag for free and they're like, you know what, I just don't feel like carrying nothing. So they're just always going to check a bag, which is fine. If that's what you want to do, that's how you want to live, that's how you want to move, it's your choice. The point that I'm making is, why do you keep renting your clothes? Why do you keep renting your clothes? Help me understand, why are you renting your clothes that you already purchased? Okay. All right, the next thing is roll. Roll your clothes. Roll them very tightly, right? You want to mush them together. Just roll them together. You want to have packing cubes. I'm telling you, it's the best thing. If you're not using them, use packing cubes, right? You want to put all your underwear, right, into one packing cube, right? You can put your outfits, lay them out, roll them, right, by days of how you want to do it. And then you're using these packing cubes just in case your bag flies open. All of your mentionables are not laying out in the airport. It's just a packing cube. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe you get a little bit overweight a little bit. Boom. It's easy, right? To pull something out, to pull something at the end. When you get on the other side, right? It's easy if you're only going to be living out of your suitcase. And even if you have drawers to take it out, look, you can just take it out by the cube and just place it in the drawer. So I just think this is just, if you're not using packing cubes, get you some packing cubes. They don't cost that much. Go to Amazon. All right. Not Marshall's. Amazon is better. All right. You want to make sure that you're leaving space to bring something back, right? A souvenir. Like I have a colleague and I've been knowing this person 10 plus years. And I remember the first time I went away and they were like, hey, can you get me a magnet? And I was like, sure. So they made this comment of like, when I get the magnet, it's almost as though I went there. So when you go somewhere, I go, right? So I just thought, I was like, oh, cool, right? So I decided every time I go somewhere, I'm going to get this person a magnet, right? So I'm going to bring them back one. And then it just got to the point where I was like, oh, I want to get creative. I don't want to just buy any old magnet, right? I want to say, something that's pretty unique. And so that's what I've been doing, right, to bring that back. You also want to make sure you have the go bag. Your go bag, if you check a bag, is the bag that you keep with you. What's in your go bag? Toiletries, right? Your toothbrush, your toothpaste, right? Your deodorant that you might be wearing, your charger, right? And even, listen up, people, even an extra pair of undergarments and socks. You need that. You don't know what the situation might be. How many of y'all have got on the plane? You got on the plane, right? You had a check bag. You're on the plane. You're sitting there. They're telling you, oh, we're at the delay, we're at the delay, we're at the delay. And then before you know it, guess what? They're saying, we apologize. We're going to have to ask everyone to get off the plane. You get off the plane. Everybody else getting off the plane. And then they tell you, what's the other thing they tell you? We're sorry. We don't have any more flights leaving tonight. And so we're going to make sure you get on a flight for tomorrow, but you're staying here overnight. And then it could happen again the next day. How are you brushing your teeth? How them halitosis doing? Let me know. You want to make sure you have your go bag right with you at all times. If it's for a short trip, again, you really need that carry-on, which is your go bag, right? Everything is right there. You don't want to be trying to carry too much unnecessary things. You just don't know what's going to happen when you get to the other side and when you make it back to the other side. One reason why I don't check bags, if I don't need to check a bag, is because once I get off the plane, I'm usually on a schedule. Even if I'm not going to a particular event until the next day, I still put myself on a schedule because I'm like, oh, boom, this is how long it's going to take me to get the car, or this is how long it's going to take me to get to where I'm going. Once I get there, I want to go here when I have enough time before maybe I have to get something to eat. So I'm literally on a schedule. And so I don't want to spend time waiting for my bag to come out. And so I just get the carry-on. Right? Like, I'm just going to take it with me. So, because as soon as I get off that plane, I'm going to ground transportation. I'm going to the rental car place. I want to be on my way. And I don't want my bag to be lost as a possibility. It can happen. Or they forgot to put it on the flight, and then now it's going to be on the next flight. It happens. It happens. We're human beings. It happens. I'm not, no shade to the airlines. It does happen, and that's why, having the go bag, and then also, if you don't need to check a bag, don't check a bag. Don't check a bag. It's not necessary. So we're going to pause here, right? And before we get into the next segment, because I don't want to get into something and then we're going to have to, stop it again. But I do want to encourage you that you can travel, and you can travel smart. If you make that budget, include all the things that I mentioned earlier in part 1 about what you need to include in that budget. If you're driving, right, the gas, right, the meals, all of that is in your budget, right? Think about the activities. Think about where you want to stay. And I think one of the things I want to iterate again is about how much you're traveling, right? When you think about a whole calendar year, do you want to break it down? Because this is me planning. I want to make sure that I go somewhere once a quarter. So that's once a quarter, right? So that's 4 trips within a year. If I'm at a certain point where I can only go somewhere based upon the school calendar, right? I'm still planning this out based on when my child is in and out of school. I'm planning ahead because more than likely everyone else is competing for this same time and space. This is the thing I realized because I was just such a stickler for you will go to school, because I don't know, it was like I felt like I needed the award, right? They're gonna be like, what? I needed the award of 100% attendance. Like that was always my goal. Although I was not going to school, and she was like, "You're not missing school. You are not missing school." But there's some parents that's okay. Like they like, you know what? We're not gonna get it in if we just don't go. And so they pull their children out of school for weeks, at a time. Well, not weeks at a time, but a week at a time. Or maybe we were already on a break and they extend that like an extra 2 days, a day ahead and a day afterwards. To each his own, to each his own. But as you're planning, right, and budgeting this out, you're thinking about, where am I going for the year? Like if you know that you have to go to a graduation, you know that you're going to a wedding, you want to go to a particular conference, then yes, you need to be budgeting that out, right? I'm already thinking about, okay, next calendar year, oh man, I have to go here. On my plate right now, no, it's 2 international trips, right? Just right off the bat, there's 2 international trips. Oh, by the way, I still need to do this trip that I've been doing with my niece and nephew every year. So that's already planned out. So I already know that I got 3 trips right off the bat. It's nothing else. I'm like, okay, oh, boom. I need to go to a particular conference, which again, now think about it, there's 2, right? For professional growth and development. So there it is. So I'm laying out right now. I think I said 5 trips already. I need to, right, be already thinking about, which I have. This is so funny. Let me share this. So one of the international trips, I asked one of the people, hey, can you help me out because, these tickets and these airlines, this is insane. Can you give me your recommendations, blah, 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 blah. They said to me, why are you looking at tickets now? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's only a few months away. Why, what am I supposed to be looking at tickets? When my research says that if you're traveling international, that you should be buying your tickets in a certain window. And they're telling me no, no, I bought my ticket. And I'm like, so we are so, like, they're way over here and I am way over here when it comes to and we're just laughing at one another because it's like, why are you looking at tickets, right? So I'm like, I'm supposed to be looking at tickets. Why are you not looking at tickets, right? So again, if you are flexible, then probably you could do that. I remember one time where I was like, you know what, Murdoch, you about to get left because you just not on your JLB, right? So I was like, are you going? You're not going? What you gonna do with the route? So he never responded. I was like, okay, I need to get these tickets because we know tickets go up, right? So we get the tickets. He ends up getting a ticket, I think like a couple of days before we were supposed to leave, through Priceline, where you put your price in there. And why? He got a better price and he also got a better flight time. So these things do matter. If you're flexible, then you can do these things. If you're flexible, if you don't have to, worry about your schedule, whatever, then you can do that. Some people are maybe not in that time and space where they can just, go off the seat of the pants. But that's the difference, right? You might be able to get something last minute like that. So as we are wrapping this up, right, I want you to know that if you do these things and keep these things in mind, that you can have a stress-free travel. You can have a stress-free vacation. You can have a stress-free experience. It can be stress-free. You can travel. It will be okay, right? So we're going to end here. I thank you so much for doing this with me and listening or whatever and taking these tools. Let me know how it works out, right? If you know we're right here at the end of the calendar year going into another one. And if you already know what you need to do, start researching those things out now. Okay, the next one we're going to start talking about how to stay safe, right, and dig in just a little bit more about the rewards points, right, and the mindset of traveling, right, and being ready to go. So thank you so much for joining us. Do know that when you get in the soup bowl, life gets messy and it can be cleaned up. and leading is teachable. I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Peace.